Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Chocolate Living. Thanks for joining me today. It's hump day, Wednesday morning here on the mountain, and I'm just trying to get a video in between activity on the property. We hired a maid yesterday for the house, which is good. We haven't had a proper maid. We had a lady that would clean, but now that they're going to be doing something, more full time here with the house, we hired somebody to clean full time, so that's a good thing. And a number of people around the property, so I will have to just kind of steal my moments, move around, and do my videos when it is convenient for everybody. So anyhow, I want to talk about the raw vegan lifestyle and fat today. I do videos similar to this every day on the raw vegan lifestyle, just on a plant-based lifestyle in general, because a plant-based lifestyle can save lives. Fact. A little bit of fitness, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of philosophy here and there. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button, click on the little bell, and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. It seems like in the raw vegan thing, it's all about finding the sweet spot. Or for me, it's been about finding that sweet spot on fat. So it's sort of kind of like being Goldilocks, it's like there's so many extremists out there, especially when it comes to the fat. You've got your uber people over here that are like the Puritans, that settled the United States, that we don't eat fat, we haven't eaten fat in 437 days, our hair is strawy, our skin is thin and brittle, we look terrible, but we do not eat fat. Then you have the people that are raw vegans, and we are the fully raw vegans. We eat fully raw, everything below 118. They kind of chant in a Stepford wife-like monotone. Every single recipe at night they're making is just like fat, 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 fat. And here's another recipe today, and it calls for a cup of cashews and some sunflower seeds and this and that. I think there's that sweet spot right in the middle, and I like being like Goldilocks. You remember the story of the three bears? This one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right. And I think that's what you're always searching for on the fat thing. And mine is very intuitional, instinctual. I think I don't use chronometer. I don't know exactly things. I guesstimate, and I've had a little bit of experience, and I've honed it, and I've looked up how many calories, and I've looked up how much of this, blah, 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 blah. So I think more or less I try to shoot for 10% across the board over a year, or like all the time. Now I do periods of higher and lower, but I think that 10% is a good number, but I can't say that's accurate. And that's why I have really worked a lot on just feeling my way to what is the right amount of fat for me. Instead of worrying about, okay, let's get out the thing and let's see how many exact calories that I have. Just kind of like tweaking, a little bit more fat, a little bit less fat, until you just hit that spot where you feel like everything is, that's just right. Now, right now, I guess I should say, full disclosure, I'm not eating fat at all. I haven't been adding fat now for 3 weeks, and it's just kind of getting a little bit addicting. It'll be time to add some fat in soon. Although, with me going out of town next week, I'm probably going to ride another week or two out on this. But yeah, it's about finding that sweet spot, and it's not about being, I don't think, extreme on either side. And I don't think I don't think there's an exact number. There can be a range. I think anywhere from, say, when I'm talking about super high fat, like a lot of these people are fooling themselves if they even think they're kind of okay. Maybe they think they're not low fat, but they're not high fat. Some of these nut dishes, when you're using these heavy nut dishes and you're just using fat several times a day, heavy at dinner, every single day, that stuff adds up. And I bet you a lot of people that probably think they're maybe in the teens or below 20 are probably up in the 20s and maybe even the 30s. I don't see it being a real problem, and especially there's different needs for different people, and when it comes to women's needs, I don't pretend to know that much about that. There's different hormonal issues going on there. I tend to just believe instinctually that women can benefit from a bit more fat than men can. But once again, not high, just maybe a little bit higher range. I was talking with, networking with, discussing stuff with this woman 3 years back that was very knowledgeable in this lifestyle, had done this lifestyle for a number of years. I think had been vegan 27 or 28, been raw like 15 to 20, a lot of years, and very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. I was impressed by their knowledge, and they would play in the 15 to 18% range sometime, and they were uber vigilant about what they ate. So, I mean, like I say, you don't have to necessarily be fanatic, but a lot of these things are just like these recipes are blowing people off the charts. Yes, it's good fat, and this is stuff that you really shouldn't need to tell anybody that's a raw vegan or a high carb vegan after they've been that for like about 6 months. But even though it is, yes, it's good fat, but just because it's good fat, you can't just sit and scarf, avocado after avocado after avocado, or just eat nuts by the handful. Vegans have heart attacks. Raw vegans have heart attacks. Raw vegans can clog those arteries and up just like other people can. I talked about that a while back. Well, this was a stroke, but talked about a long-term raw vegan that had a stroke. Same thing. He was a lot higher in fat than he was aware of. Another issue too is especially a lot of the raw vegans, a lot of people that will watch my channel, we all eat a lot of fruit. So when you're eating as much fruit as we're eating, and then you eat high fat, you're going to have blood sugar issues, because with that fat in your bloodstream, the sugar's not going to be able to release into your body, into your cells, in the timely manner that it should. So there's listen, I don't know if I could just preach that middle way, the middle way of the Buddha, sort of, and just going against extremes. Like almost always in anything in life, there's very few cases where I think it's prudent to choose the extreme. Extremes just don't, I don't know, they just don't work. So I would say, like, maybe do like I do. You got to put some work at, like, if you really want to thrive on this lifestyle, you got to put some work into it. Now I know, I've got a little bit more time on my hands than most, so you only can do what you can do. But until you really take an active part in this, until you do some of the things like I'm doing and that I have been doing, where I'm just constantly trying things out, I'm reading a little bit, I'll try something out, I'll read about it, I'll study, and it's all an experiment, and it's all a little tweaking process. It's not like I'm jumping forward in leaps and bounds, but I'm trying little things, and this works, and this is a little better, and this fat level works a little bit better. And you just slowly you get there, but you experiment. This lifestyle takes experimentation. Everybody just wants to do it the geek way and just ask a bunch of questions and, can you tell me what, well, my blood is doing, blah, 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 and can you give me an answer? No, the body is not, it's not exact. It's not an exact formula, like put 3 parts this, 2 parts this, and this going to do. Play with it. Do what I've done. I've done that a lot. I've felt my way to my way of eating right now. I've done reading and educating to support it, but I've felt my way there. Like, I try things. How does that feel? I'm very aware. I'm very, very sensitive to that. But you have to participate in the process. Now, there's value to nuts, so don't misunderstand what I'm about to say next, and also, I would really like to see, or that's where I'm finding I get most of I get my fat from avocados. I like the idea just of getting my fat from a fruit source as opposed to a nut source. So, things like avocado, coconut, wherever you are, if you get durian. I mean, and that to me, I'm not telling you any kind of fun facts or scientific facts or, this fat is better because, but I just have that instinctual feeling that a fruit fat is better than that nut fat. Now, there's beneficial things in those nuts. I kind of like to, and I haven't been eating any nuts, so it's kind of a moot point, but I'd kind of like to get back to just eating maybe, a handful of nuts every couple of days, just for the value of what they have in them. Kind of, like for the Brazil nut with the selenium, maybe 2 walnuts, because those nuts do have some good things for us in there, but not by the cupful. I mean, come on, listen, red flashing signs should go off everywhere. If you ever see anything that's got a cup of nuts, and it's for just a single serving for you, run away. Now, like I say, let me temper this message just a little bit, because when I talk about this, then that'll come off like I'm an extremist. Do I eat extremely high-fat foods? I mean, high-fat meals sometimes? Yes, very few and far between. But and also, like I say, that would depend on what you consider very high fat, blah blah blah. Yeah, there's certain things I'm not an always and never type person. There are things that are, well, I mean, you just choose. Like maybe there's a Saturday night that, you know, I'm sitting around, I've been eating good, I haven't been eating fat, and I'm like, I'm gonna have 2 avocados tonight. That's about as crazy it's gonna get. Or, you know, sometimes when I'm in the States and I go to that little restaurant, I blow it off the charts, but that's for one day, for one meal. So I'm not saying you can never, you know, like all these recipes that are fun, and you've probably seen me do recipes. You've seen me do recipes where I have the cashiers out, especially when Lissa was here. But I just always like to point that out, that is not an everyday thing. That's just kind of every once in a while thing, kind of fun. So right now, right now I'm not taking in any fat, and I'm not sure when I'm going to start taking in the fat again, because I'll go probably another week or so, and then I wanted to ease back in with just using the omega-3s. And that's one last little thing I'll finish off with there is balancing out the omega-3s to the omega-6s and not having it be all avocados, nuts, coconut, and durian. We need to be getting those chia seeds. Those chia seeds and flax seeds, they're the highest in the omega-3s. The hemp seeds come in right after that. They don't quite have as good a ratio as the flax and the chia seeds. Personally, I use chia seeds. I don't know that I've ever even used flax seeds, because I've heard that you need to grind the flax seeds, and you need to grind them right before. You don't grind a bunch of it ahead of time, and apparently the flax seed can get rancid a lot quicker. So I just use hemp seeds. Not hemp seeds, I use chia seeds. I do use hemp seeds, but I use the chia for that better ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s, or omega-6s to omega-3s, however you want to say the ratio. And I like the hemp seeds. They've got a good ratio, and they're a little bit higher in protein, so they do well there. But you know, keep that fat down, keep that fat in a moderate range, 10, 12, 15%, maybe even as high as 18 sometimes if you're a woman. Make sure you're getting plenty of the omega-3s in there, because that's what is going to help you with the heart health and the stroke prevention. Like that was basically the subject of that video, that John Kohler video where the guy had the stroke, was that he just wasn't paying attention to his omega-3s and was taking in too much fat via omega-6. So anyhow, fat is not your enemy. Fat is not your enemy, but fat ain't your best friend either. You don't want to cuddle up with them on the couch every night. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Peace.